You know we're live, right? Hi.
The fuck you?
An Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am your excited to be here host, who is currently dealing with technical difficulties. So bear with me for
User
one
error.
moment. Listen here, Miss freaking island like Japan.
Come on now.
I mean, Chancey and I were talking shit about you about that today behind your back, but
Okay, great. I had a stupid moment because I was high, so sue me. You didn't
hey,
have to do me like that.
we're
Shit.
not we're not judging. We're just saying.
Okay. I
And
was making fun, not judging.
you don't judge me.
I'm
Okay.
not judging you. I'm so confused right now.
Well, so am I because literally we're okay. It's there, but it's not. Stupid technology. Okay. Edit audience, public,
All right.
save.
Well,
You can
Casey
share
does
now.
that.
You
Okay.
did that. We
Okay.
okay.
I
Oh,
could leave if you don't knock it off. Not in the mood for your shit. I'm not in the mood for anyone's shit. I don't know why. Anyway,
I mean, happy one more day until you can start putting weight back on your broken
I
ankle again.
I think that's part of it is that I'm really stressed out that something's going to be wrong. Like I know the last
Don't
X-rays and everything was fine, but I'm really really worried about it. So that's probably why I'm kind of a little cranky.
don't put that juju out into the universe.
Well, I know, but I have to accept it as a real possibility. This is me.
Well,
So
I mean,
yeah.
kind of like I said last night in the video chat, there is still another ankle you could break.
God damn it! At least Chancey knew better this time. You're gonna be if I get hurt.
I don't, I don't have the gypsy powers that Chancey Gripe has.
Okay.
So, um,
Anyway,
before I get back to introducing my co-host, as you all know, stale popcorn, watered down sodas, favorite movies, why we love them. That's why everybody is here. That's why everybody makes the show great, and it gets wildly listened to and watched all across the podcast universe. But welcome back to the show, co-host.
mhm. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
That's
Thanks.
right. I waited till you were taking a drink.
That's cool. I was taking a longer drink than expected, so that was on me. Yeah, we're here. It's Thursday. We've been cranking out blah 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 blah. Uh blah blah blah. That's another movie I wanted to do this month, but there's just too many. We have to do animation month again next year. Um and now I forgot what I was gonna say. So yeah. Oh, I was just
No,
gonna
I
say that
mean,
we're churning out a bunch of episodes lately.
no. Thursday is every other Thursday is news episode day, and every Thursday is um, live an evening at the movies. And well, we've got a Thursday and a Friday live coming up here in a couple weeks too,
Nice.
because your favorite piece of sexual chocolate will be with us 2 weeks,
Oh. Oh
2 weeks
yeah.
from today.
I don't know. We'll get to that later, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I've got a whole long list of coming soon on an evening at the
All right,
movies.
well, you're going to have to condense it a little. Just saying.
A little. I mean, we haven't booked Halloween Horror Fest yet.
That's true. I can't believe it's already like halfway through August. Like kids are going back to school, and I'm just like,
We're like a week away from college football season kicking off.
I know. I've been making some bracelets. Made some OU bracelets. I made some Kansas City Swifty Chiefty bracelets. So I've been having fun with that. I don't have anything else to do. I can't fucking walk. All I can do is watch TV, read, record podcasts, and make bracelets and sleep. So
That's basically how my year went last year until I went back to work.
yeah.
It sucks. It really, really does. And for those of you who have never had to go through being laid up and out with an injury, I do not highly recommend it. It is not choice.
No, it is not. And I mean, if I could walk, then even with the boot, it's going to be uncomfortable. But I could at least still like actually cook myself a meal and clean and not have to worry about falling and breaking my ankle again. Like I just I'm ready
Or the
to
dining room table.
I'm ready to be out of. Hey, George fixed it, so that was pretty cool.
Well, he had a choice: fix
Yeah.
it or buy a new one.
I will say I could have it worse. My sister-in-law had surgery like maybe a week before I had mine, and she tore her Achilles. And so she's been like completely laid up. And she got up one time, like with help to go to the bathroom, and she re-tore it. So she's been as long as I've been, so 6 weeks, no weight bearing. She hasn't even gotten out of bed hardly, and she's still got more weeks to go. So it could be worse.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's almost like some karma KD bullshit. Because remember when he tore his Achilles
Yeah.
and then came back in the championship series against Braun and tore it again?
Yeah, that's crazy. We've been bonding over our shared panic attacks since we both got hurt. Oops, sorry. Anyway,
So, how's your glucose?
it's all right. It's I don't know. It's fine. Shit show.
So, I mean, I think we've fooled around long enough, but obviously, like we said, stale popcorn, watered down soda, favorite movies and why we love them. So, I think we're here to discuss a movie today. Am, am I correct?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, week three, one, two, yes, week three of Animation August, and we are going to be discussing the amazingly hilarious and um, movie that Amanda said if any of you fools comment and say that she's full of shit with her opinions, then she will come unglued. So
There's no reason not to like this movie.
there really isn't, but we'll get to that as the episode goes along.
Yeah.
But we're going to be discussing a Megamind.
Woo.
So before we get into that, though, release date November 5th, 2010. This movie is 14 freaking years old.
Mm-hmm.
How?
I don't know. I remember going us taking Abby to see it in the theater. She was only 6. Man, how time flies.
You have a 20-year-old daughter.
I do. Which is
This,
impossible because I'm only 25.
hey,
Just
I
kidding.
mean, right. Directed by Tom McGrath, released by Paramount Pictures, had a $130 million box office or budget with a $321.9 million box office.
Not bad.
back out of there, back to the Google page so that I can find the Rotten Tomatoes score, so Amanda can play guess the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Well, while you're pulling it up, I've thought about this a little bit because this is something that I will at least touch on a little bit more later. But I'm gonna take a guess that this movie doesn't have great reviews, and I think the reason is because DreamWorks, like the entire market was just saturated with DreamWorks, and between Madagascar and Shrek and Kung Fu Panda, and I feel like this movie got lost in the mix, or maybe people didn't like it as much as they liked Shrek or Madagascar or whatever. Which is a travesty. This movie is underrated as hell. I'm gonna say the tomato meter is 71%. I'm gonna say the audience score is like 76%.
You did not pull a Price is Right, Bob.
Okay. Losing my touch.
The audience score on approximately 100,000 plus reviews is 72%.
Oh, okay. Dang.
So that was actually the one that you were furthest away on.
Yeah. Pearl.
You were off by 4. And on 182 reviews, the tomato meter has it at 73%.
Oh, okay. I was pretty close.
So you were only off by what, 2%?
Yeah. Pearl.
Which is really good for you, except for that little run that you went on a couple months ago, where it's like you were like 1%, 1%, 1% for like what, 4 or 5 episodes in a row.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, that's the closest you've ever been.
Yeah.
One time, let alone 4 or 5 times in a row. So,
Yeah.
by the way, literally weeks away to go. I have my Beetlejuice shirt on.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I know
Yeah.
everybody else in the world is freaking nervous because this movie
Yeah.
was done probably 30 plus years ago, but it's Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. How can that be wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, but people get upset when you fuck with their childhood classics. I mean, us included. So
There's not very many times that they've done this, and I felt like they did an amazing job with it.
sorry, I'm having issues.
I
Yeah.
mean, probably the most recent one would be Beverly Hills Cop 4,
Yeah.
which again, like we discussed, a month and a half ago, I was pleasantly surprised with.
Yeah.
But more often than not, it's a shit the bed shit show. So, are you ready to beat the clock? I mean, I don't think I'm going to need a clock for you to beat.
Nah. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay,
Right.
as you were.
Megamind is about a supervillain who is not the smartest. He is the least successful, thwarted time and time again by heroic Metro Man. Megamind is more surprised than anyone when he actually manages to defeat his longtime enemy. But without Metro Man, Megamind has no purpose in life, so he creates a new opponent who quickly decides it's more fun to be a bad guy than a superhero.
I mean, it's not the most complicated plot of all time.
It's not.
And I kind of sort of feel like there's elements of old school, our childhood, like Superman involved in the plot a little bit.
I almost feel like this movie is like a small love letter to superhero movies because it embraces, there's just like little things about it all throughout. I mean, obviously, I feel like, they're trying, Metro Man is Superman and, Megamind's Lex Luthor, but funny. But there's just other, like the soundtrack, it's very Iron Man. And, there's just other little things here and there where I feel like it's, making nods to all these different, or it's just, it's a thing.
I'm not gonna lie, the fucking
Because
soundtrack for this movie is freaking amazing.
Yeah, the soundtrack is great. You would
Well,
not,
and
if you saw this soundtrack and didn't know what the movie was, you would not think it's an animated movie at all.
no, ACDC, freaking, oh my God, there's,
Michael Jackson.
oh yeah, I mean,
La, 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 la. That's the only
there,
like
there's
good or slow song.
literally like so many freaking songs in this movie. It's like generally soundtracks tend to find a niche and they kind of sort of stick to that. Like most of the music from a certain movie is like heavy metal or it's rock or R&B or pop or whatever. But this one, it's like it turns right and then comes back hard left and then goes up and then diagonal and it's all over the freaking place with the music and oh
I
my
love when
God.
they're playing Highway to Hell and his tape keeps messing up and it switches over to that other song just when it's about to say hell. Like that was really clever. That was really cute. So that they could use that song but still not like be, you know.
Yeah. Well, 'cause I think that's part of the whole royalties law is if you use so much time consecutively, then you have to pay the royalties.
Well, I meant so they didn't say the word hell in an animated movie.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
that
that,
too.
yeah. That like specifically that's what I was talking about. I'm on a highway to however that song goes. La 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 la. Loving you.
Loving you is
I
easy 'cause
yeah.
it's beautiful.
And then Hans Zimmer did the score, so obviously, that was really good. It had a very good. I thought it had a good score.
I mean,
Um,
we discussed some of the great movie scores of all time on the SIP list, and
yep.
I believe Hans Zimmer
Oh yeah,
was was on your list.
for sure, for sure. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but I remember his name coming up, whether it was
No,
top
I have it
five
for sure.
or honorable mentions.
No, I can't
But
remember it, but he was definitely. I mean, definitely in my top five. And I mean, freak, you did the Lion King. How can you not have him on your list?
true.
Um. So yeah,
So
and I
I
think
mean,
he did other. I'm sorry. I think
oh, go ahead.
he did either Kung Fu Panda or Madagascar. I know he did at least one other DreamWorks one, but I can't remember. Anyway,
So after I make my next point, then um, I'll Google that while we go. But
doesn't matter.
so if we're gonna talk about this movie, I don't think ignoring this fact is respectful to the movie. But oh my God, for an animated movie, what a freaking cast that this movie has.
Oh yeah, the cast. This is a. I mean, Will Ferrell and
Th-
Tina Fey are two of the biggest comedic actors in the world. So
This cast is literally Smash Mouth.
yeah, it's really
I
good.
mean, Will Ferrell, Ben Stiller, Jonah Hill,
Yep.
Tina Fey, Brad Pitt, David Cross, J.K. Simons. I mean, all of these people are all of those people are insanely well known, and to
Yeah,
have that many people,
yeah, and Ben Stiller was
yeah,
a producer on it too. So,
yeah,
um, which I think he obviously with Madagascar, he's deep into the DreamWorks well slash pocketbook.
probably, but um, so yeah, the freaking cast is amazing. The cast is freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say this is my all-time favorite Will Ferrell movie of all time,
it's up there.
but I would probably put it in my top 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I will.
spoiler alert for the review, but
Well, I will say that when you have kids, I've talked about this before, and you have to watch all the stuff they want to watch. It's nice when you can, see a big like animated movie production and it's something that adults enjoy too. And I think really, I think Madagascar is where they really started, because I remember watching Madagascar with her, and Melman being like, "That's so gay," and I was like, "Okay, that's not the way to go about this." Like, I see that you're trying to draw in an adult audience. Don't do that. But I think they fixed it where there's good humor, but it's not like
You don't have to go over the line to make adult humor,
yeah,
which, I mean, I've always said since he signed his quote unquote Netflix deal is when Eddie agreed to go before COVID to go
right.
back out and do, I believe it was two stand up comedy specials. It's like, yeah, I don't know how well Eddie Murphy's stand up comedy would last in today's society.
Oh yeah, not far.
Like, cancel culture like a motherfucker.
But yeah,
So,
this is one of the movies that George and I liked more than Abby liked it. I cannot tell you how many times we've watched this, and we quote it more than once a week. Like, it's so quotable, and it's so funny and witty.
oh yeah.
Like, just amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's would along the lines kind of sort of where you were going with your last statement. I mean, I don't have kids. I mean, I have my nephews, but
Right.
they didn't
You
come
know.
along until well after this movie came out. But it's like I remember watching this movie what 14 years ago and not being ashamed of the fact that I was a grown ass freaking adult watching a cartoon
Yeah.
by
Well,
myself.
shouldn't be, but yeah.
Well, there is the stereotype of,
Yeah.
you know, whether or not you want to believe it or not, but cartoons are for kids. No offense, Josh and CJ, but
Well, we don't think
um,
that either, so we're not offending
no,
them.
not at all. I mean, I think it's safe to say that this is, if we were to do a top five uh, SIP list for animated movies, that this movie would probably be in my top five. If
It would
not,
it would be close for me if yeah.
I was gonna say, if not, it's literally like honorable mention number one or honorable mention number two. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
I
sure.
seriously would have to go back and look at it because there was some incredible animated movies that we got to experience as kids.
Yeah, I'd have to break them into like either categories or studios or whatever. But
You almost have to because you could do a top five list on just Disney alone,
hmm
and that doesn't even scratch the surface on DreamWorks and all of the other animated entities that are out there.
Illumination. I know
I
that's
mean,
DreamWorks. I just wanted to say it.
well, I mean, technically Pixar is a part of Disney, but you could do a top five just in Pixar alone.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I mean, you could do a top five classic Disney. You could do a top five contemporary Disney.
Yeah.
It is what it. Rabbit hole. We're down it, pulling ourselves back out and back on track. So, but no, I mean, obviously, to go along the lines with normally what we kick off our discussion with, though, being what was it about this movie that you loved? I mean, it's one of those movies that bridges the generation gap
hmm
between a kid and an adult. I think after rewatching this movie this week and doing this episode, the next time I get like Nico to come over and spend a day, I want to sit down and watch it with him because I think he would really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
And it's
And
not something that I would be incredibly worried about. He's going to hear something that's going to offend the shit out of him.
I mean,
I
no,
mean,
there
I'm
really isn't anything.
no, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting him down to watch freaking his first episode of South Park or Family Guy. So, was there anything else that drew you in as reasons why you love this movie?
I mean, obviously the dialogue. The dialogue is just peak dialogue. As far as humor, like it's not Oscar winning, but the humor and the wit and the comedic timing, like, is really amazing, especially between Will Ferrell and Tina Fey, which makes sense. They've known each other a long time, but um, I love that Roxanne is like so like just strong, and she's like, ugh, not this again. Like he's trying to scare her, and she's just like, seen it. That's old. Whatever. Blah blah blah. And it's like, can somebody stamp my frequent kidnapper card? You know we discontinued that
So,
membership.
so new rabbit hole. Really quickly though, and then we're right back out and back on topic again. Top five greatest Saturday Night Live character or Saturday Night Live actors of all time.
Yeah, I thought we did that. Maybe not. But no, yeah,
Uh,
that's definitely a good one, but a hard one too.
that'd be another one you probably almost have to break down into like different, like original
Aaron.
to 1980, and then set a year limit for that, and then the Adam Sandler, Mike Myers, and them era to, because otherwise, yeah, you're gonna end up leaving so many different people off your damn list. It's ridiculous. So,
Yeah,
um,
tough one to do.
back on
Um,
track.
yeah. So
Was there anything about the movie that you absolutely did not like?
okay,
And
well, I was still talking about the things I liked, and you
oh,
interrupted me with your
I'm
rabbit hole. I'm not done. I mean, I thought the voice work and the animation is really, really good too. I mean, the scene at the end, when Megamind comes out and he's like, the difference between you and me is presentation. And you get that like pixelated thing of his mouth being giant and then he walks out of it. Like, that's one of the coolest things and I know it's computer, whatever, but still one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. Like I would put that in the area of Tangled where they do all the lanterns. Like that's just a really cool, like beautiful animation thing. So um
yeah, but that pixelation does not cause you to cry every time when you see it like Tangled did.
well, that's fair. That's fair. Um it makes me laugh. And that's one of the quotes that George will say all the time. He's like, presentation. Um yeah, we'll have to talk about quotes. And this I swear to God we quote this movie all the time. Um
We're not getting out of this episode without at least doing a brief rundown of quotes in this movie because, again, Will Ferrell, Tina Fey,
yeah, just
comedic.
comedy gold.
Well, yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Kuma.
Um and we might talk about this more. If I don't even know if you thought of this. I know it's just a kids movie and blah blah blah, but I really like the inner conflict and like kind of the theme of like you know the duality of man, like wanting to be one thing but then slowly being something else. And it kind of shows kids like it's kind of like the devil and the angel on your shoulder or whatever. You're like, I could be bad, but it feels good to be good. And he's changing his perception. But then he's like, even in his own inner struggle, because he'll do it and then he'll go back and he'll be like, no, and then he'll do it and then he'll go back. So I don't know. I like that. I thought, you know, it's all about second chances, and then you also have the nature versus nurture argument. This movie is pretty nuanced for a kids movie, in my opinion.
Well, no, 'cause I remember seeing a lot of, you know, devil and angel on the shoulder moments in like cartoons growing up on like Looney Tunes, or basically everybody had some kind of episode at some point where the main character has the devil and angel on the shoulder moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember being a kid and not fully understanding the whole duality of it, and just be like, okay, obviously the devil wants you to be bad, the angel wants you to be good, blah 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 blah. You know, but this movie really digs deeper under the surface of that and really gets into, like you said, the whole psychological element of being expected to be something that and then the struggle to back and forth and all of that.
Yeah.
It's really, in my opinion anyway, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's a well done plot point that I feel like most kids are at least slow walked through it so that they can fully understand
Yeah.
everything that's going on, and it's not just something that's over the top of their head.
Well, and the main theme of the movie, I mean, they say it times is, whenever there is evil, good will rise up against it. Like, and that's kind of the whole motto of the whole movie. And it's like you live long enough to be the hero, you see yourself become the villain. This is like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It was cute to watch him fall in love. Hello, Felix.
First
Thanks.
time first time viewer, long time listener, whatever.
It's long time listener, first time caller. I know that one's hard.
The English language is hard for me.
I mean, tomato, tomato, potato, tomato.
I'm just saying it's the first time I've seen a comment from DeFelix. So definitely, if it is first time, welcome to the show, my good friend. Um, we hope you stick around. Uh, was there any other good points before we get to um, Amanda getting pissy for me and my things I hated about this movie?
There's only one thing I have to complain about, so that's going to be interesting for me.
One?
Yeah. Shall I go first?
Uh, yeah, because I literally don't have anything that I hated about this movie.
Oh, okay. You weren't being serious. I don't. It's not something that I hate. It's something that just bothered me. I did not like Hal. He is a freaking creepy ass stalker. Like, and because they made him Jonah Hill and he's all chubby and cute and funny and bumbly. I'm like, no, Hal is a stalker. Like, come to my house. It's gonna be a big party. I got a bouncy house. Well, actually, just be me and you.
Yeah,
Stupid. Chicks don't like bouncy houses. They like clowns.
but
Yeah,
then
Hal's a stalker. That's my only complaint.
punching the van and breaking a finger.
I will say he has one of my favorite quotes though, and I say this anytime I get a chance. When he's like, first of all, if I were Metro Man, Megamind wouldn't be kidnapping you all the time. I'd be watching you like a dingo watches a human baby. Anytime I get a chance to say that, I say it. And kids aren't going to get that. I mean, it's funny because it's weird, but it's also funny if you get the pop culture reference.
True. I think the reason why I wasn't as haterating on the whole Jonah Hill thing is because I think having somebody like Jonah Hill play that character takes a little bit of that creepy stalker edge off of it so that it doesn't feel quite as creepy for the little kids watching the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, if it weren't for Metro Man and Megamind, I think they'd be finding her body in a basement somewhere with Hal making lampshades out of her skin or something. Nipple belts or whatever it was that Ed Gein did. Yeah. Hal's a little crazy.
No.
So yeah,
that would be a good topic. We'll put a bookmark in that and bring it up at the next Horror Squad meeting when Chancey's there, because Chancey.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories and Texas Chainsaw, Ed Gein, love.
Oh, I will say real quick, this wasn't something I didn't like about the movie, but it was a part that made me really mad. At the end, when Megamind's fighting Hal and Metro Man shows up, I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here. You had your chance. Like, fuck off.
Right?
And then you find out that it's actually Megamind and he's used the watch thing and then he fucks that up with Metrocity. But that was awesome. I was like, Metro Man, get out of here.
Oh,
You're old news.
that's
Music.
the other thing I that makes me laugh about this movie is the way Megamind butchers words throughout the entire movie.
Yes. So I another one that I will tell you anytime someone says the word spider, me and George at the same time, spider, arachnus dethicus. She's like, the spider's new. He's like, oh yeah.
I mean, I can DM you a picture of a spider right now and
No,
see how
what?
you react.
Stop. Don't do
Why
that.
not?
It gives me nightmares.
Oh,
But
okay.
I do like saying the word spider. George and I say that one a lot. Um, all right, well, we'll get to that anyway. What was there anything you?
Well, I mean, what are some of the favorite things that the Cole Hopper husband and wife love to repeatedly quote at each other?
I will say on a regular basis the quotes that either one or both of us say. Um, Olo, it's hello. We'll say code a lot. um, I say a lot. I'm shaking in my custom made baby seal leather boots. Um, the spider, we say that a lot. Oh, you say you were right, I was less right. Guess who says that one? Um,
Jeej!
what was the other one? Oh, my giant blue head. That's probably one of. Anytime I run into something, I usually say that, even though I don't have a giant blue head. But so when he smacks, he's like, "Oh my giant
Okay.
head." I've looked into the reset button. The silence is impossible. Okay, anyway.
I I can't lie. I mean, the opening line of the movie is probably one of my all-time favorites. The whole "Here's my day so far.
Yeah.
Went to jail, lost the girl of my dreams, got my butt kicked pretty good. Still, things could be a lot worse. Oh,
Oh
that's right.
wait,
I'm falling to my death.
to my death.
Guess they can't. How did it all come to this? Well, my end starts at the beginning, the very beginning, and then the movie
So
starts. I mean, I would probably that line coupled with like the whole opening scene for The Crow is probably one of my two favorite opening lines for a movie.
it was a really good opening scene, especially for a kids movie, because you're not immediately met with, okay, well, here's how the story started. They start at the end, and granted, it's only for like 20 seconds, but then you're invested like already.
Mm.
So then when it goes back to his childhood, you're like, oh. So
Generally, kids' stories are very linear in plot. They don't
yeah,
tend to deviate from that.
I guess that's true. I have to go back to Hal for a second because I have a question, and this was the thing about the movie that made me think. Do you think Hal should have gone to prison? Do you think that was right that he was in jail at the end? There's no wrong answer. I just want to know what you think.
No,
I go back and forth about it.
I for this level of a kids movie, that's probably the
Well, that's not what I
appropriate.
mean. I mean, like, if this were the real world and that happened, would you think that he should go to prison for basically something that he wasn't in control of? I mean, Megamind made him, and yeah. So, but the thing is, like, was it the DNA and like the extra stuff they gave him? Is that what made his mind change from being good to bad, or was that always Hal and he was always going to do that? I do think that's always Hal and he was always going to do that. So I am glad he's in prison, but also that none of that was really in his control. So it's interesting.
I that poses, one of life's deep questions. Okay, by that standard, you know, I guess, and it may not be a great metaphor, but it's still a metaphor I'm going to go with. But if somebody has too many glasses of the wine at dinner and gets in their car and kills somebody, I mean, technically, it was the
But you
wine that did
have
it.
control over drinking and driving. You make a choice to do that or not do that. Hal didn't really have a choice. Was kind of my thing. Whatever he did it, but it wasn't in his control. Like I
Uh,
get the argument you're trying to make, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you. I was trying to make colorful points to further discussion, but yeah, I mean, I see your whole point, and
But yeah, he did make the
I
decision to
mean,
turn, whether it was really Hal or drugged up Hal. So
yeah, I, it's yeah, I would say yeah, probably going to jail probably would be
yeah, I mean, and for the
appropriate
kids, that's
in that sense, but I mean, in my estimation, if it was like I was making Megamind the adult version, I'd forget. Nope,
yeah.
you sir are an ass. Off with your head.
Crap, I was gonna say
But then,
something. Oh,
but then again, I'm still fresh off of my whole, you know, I'm still in that euphoric state of watching Deadpool and Wolverine a couple weeks ago.
oh,
So, you know, there's all kinds of death and murder and killing in Deadpool and Wolverine. Hashtag coming soon on an evening at the movies.
yeah. I like when he like writes with his eyes, and it's Titanville, but it's spelled Tighthen. Like that's amazing. That's so, and it's like a kid wouldn't get that, but it made me laugh really hard.
There's so much funniness about this movie, though.
Yeah,
There's
it's
stuff that'll
hilarious.
make kids laugh. There's stuff that'll make adults laugh. It's
Yeah,
like we both basically said, though. This is a movie that literally can bridge the gap between the two generations, and parents and children alike can sit down and enjoy a good movie viewing experience
yeah,
watching this movie, where I've sat down and watched movies before with Nico, and the movie's been on and I'm sitting there with my phone in
right.
my hand, just scroll, scroll, scroll. I'm not paying attention, but I hear what's going on, you
Yeah,
know. But I honestly think if he and I sat down and watched this movie, I would watch the movie from start to finish with him because I would really enjoy and appreciate seeing his reaction to seeing this movie.
yeah. I'm sure you'd like it. Who was your like favorite secondary character? I think mine was Minion.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I looked at Minion as being Megamind's
Yeah,
own mini me,
yeah, that's true.
and mini me is legitimately like one of my all-time favorite characters in Austin Powers.
Well, see, that's another thing I thought they threw into this movie a couple of times was like Austin Powers references. Like when he's a baby or a kid and he's like, I had a fairly standard childhood. Sounds exactly like Dr. Evil, and I think it's the second one. I don't remember what he's talking about his childhood. I had a fairly standard childhood. Hello, George.
Oh yeah, it was the second one. Despite Who Shagged Me, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah. Um. Okay. Maybe well, but Bernard's kind of a main character. That's what I was kind of like thinking. Minion. I like the warden too.
yeah. I mean, is there really a bad character in this movie? Though I mean,
Actually, I think Metro Man. I'd
just
call him a secondary character, wouldn't you?
he's definitely not 100% involved in every aspect of the story, but at the same time, he's still a key element to the story and how it unfolds, though too.
Yeah, there's no
So,
great characters.
I if he's not a secondary character, he's definitely a primary ish character,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like he's right there. You got primary characters, secondary characters, and if he's not right here, then he's somewhere right here in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all good. Metro Man. Now I'm Music Man. So I could keep the same logo.
I at the end of the day, too, on top of it, I mean, this is not the kind of movie that I would assume Brad Pitt would even thrive in.
Yeah, that surprised me too, but he was really good.
And I'm still never have been a huge Brad Pitt fan,
Yeah.
but there's definitely Brad Pitt movies that I enjoy, and I would probably put this somewhere on my favorite Brad Pitt movie of all time.
See,
You
we're
know,
different on that though, because I wouldn't call this a Brad Pitt movie.
well, I mean,
I mean,
he's
I
in
know
it.
that it is, but if you're like, what's your favorite Brad Pitt movie? I wouldn't even remember that he was in this. If I'm being honest.
I'm not gonna lie, until I rewatched it, I had forgotten that he was even in it. But you know, it's still when you have a name like Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
that name goes on the freaking marquee, no matter what level your character's at in the whole plot.
Yeah.
So, um, was there any more quotes that you and Mr. Jeej have?
I think I said we do say shul instead of school a lot too. I forgot about that. Um, no, I mean I guess like just some of my favorite other ones. He's
I
like
was
I
eight
hired
days
a
old
wedding.
and still living with my parents. How sad is that? Clearly, it was time to move on.
Huh?
I was 8 days old and still living with my parents. How sad
Oh,
is that? Clearly, it was time to move on.
are we on a delay? Because I was literally talking.
Evidently, Wi Fi sucks.
That's okay. Um, I like Titan when he's like, "What's that? I couldn't hear you over the sound of me saving your life." He had some funny. There is no Easter Bunny, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England. And I hired a wedding photographer, just in case. We're like, hey, we want to get married. Oh, and Minion Black Mamba.
Let's see.
Olo. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, the two that I gave are probably my two favorite
Yeah.
on my list. Just it, for lack of a better term. Is there anything else you want to cover before we get into the review?
I don't think so.
So, ripping the band-aid off, what are your overall thoughts of this movie? And please be gentle with your scoring.
What do you mean gentle?
I'm just kidding.
Like, don't overscore it? I'm confused. Um, I mean, obviously, I love this movie. I recommended it. It's something that, as an adult, I will watch without children around. And no problems there. Like I said, I like the underlying themes and the chemistry and dialogue and just. the pacing, everything about it is just really, really good and engaging and funny. Um, so I don't know what you mean by generous, but I'm giving it 5 out of 5 space stepmoms.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
space dad.
like like we said though, I mean, this is probably one of my favorite animated movies out there.
Yeah, me too.
Um, again, not to beat a dead horse, but it bridges the gap, and it's something that parents and children alike can sit down and watch and enjoy together as a family. The cast is amazing. The dialogue is hilarious.
Hmm.
Um, it's just a great all around movie. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 minions just because Minion is such an amazing fucking character.
Yeah, he's adorable.
So,
Code.
um,
I love the way they say code. Too cute.
so before we wrap up the show, obviously we can't get out of here without saying thank you to the people who have been here each and every week. Um, officially, we're upgrading their name from the dozens to the hundreds now because
Nice.
we're drawing all kinds of freaking watches all over the place now, not just on Twitter, but the Facebook is almost on the same level as Twitter right now. So
Nice.
thank you everybody for being here each and every week. You guys are fucking amazing. Is there anything coming up on the SIP list that you would like to let the listeners know about?
Well, if you're listening live, the newest episode actually drops tomorrow morning at 7. I was supposed to get it out today and I didn't, but we're trying to do kind of a bi-weekly thing. So that one's top 5 platonic TV friendships, and I believe the next one we're doing is top 5 Olympic moments of all time. So stay tuned for those.
Lots of fun, lots of shenanigans, and we will be back here again next week. Same, well, no, probably not the same time because I'm back to my old schedule next week.
Yeah.
So I have all day off on Thursday, so we can go live whenever we want. But we will be here next week, and we will. Well, no, it might be the same time because that's Paranorman, and we have to have the horror squad for
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's right.
So, but Paranorman will wrap up our animation August episode. No, we have a bonus episode
Oh,
coming
yeah.
as well. We've got Peaches coming up as well that we have to get recorded. So we've got Super Mario and Paranorman coming up, Stephen King birthday bonanza. Um, 2 out of the 4 episodes we have, we will be joined by Amanda's favorite piece of sexual chocolate. Havandre himself will be here, as well as Dr. Sleep, Cat's Eye, Halloween Horror Fest coming up after that. And then in November, we're going to do Thanks Grisham all month long and talk about John Grisham movies. So I'm not going to go down the whole list. Amanda and I know what the 4 movies are that we're going to discuss in November. You're just going to have to stay tuned and you'll find out late September, early October what we're talking about in November.
Exactly.
So I am being responsible and giving you a lot of information, but doing it in a concise way. So
Yeah.
thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, co-host, for being here. Thank you for recommending the Megamind. This
Always.
was incredibly fun to sit down and watch again. And I hope everybody has an amazing week. And with that said, the floor is yours. Take us home, co-host.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening, and hope you had fun. And we hope you all come back for an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
No peace on hair grease.
Oh, my giant blue head.